Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello there. Rise of the Guardians. Now, Rise of the Guardians is one of those old movies that came out that it's just like, I don't think did very well, but I loved it. I loved it because you basically have Santa Claus, you have the Easter Bunny, you have the Tooth Fairy, you have the Sandman, you have Jack Frost. I've always liked Jack Frost as a character. He's always been there, and it's just like, yeah, he seems pretty cool. I like him. Of course, nobody ever does anything with Jack Frost other than like in superheroes where they turn him into like a villain. And what is it in Jack Frost, where he's turned into a snowman, the movie. Yeah. Yeah, I need to review that movie at some point in time. I remember watching it as a kid, and I just completely forgot. But yeah, it's, where was I? Yeah, the Rise of the Guardians. So, Jack Frost is a character who has absolutely no clue where he comes from. He just woke up one day, and the moon talked to him. The moon told him he was going to serve a purpose, apparently. And that's the only thing the moon ever told him. That's after he's woken up in an ice cube. And then he realizes no one can see him. He realizes he's wandering the earth, just messing around, having fun. That's it. That's all he's doing. So it's just like, okay, so for several hundred years you're playing with kids. That's fine. I mean, I guess you're stuck in the body of a teen, but you're playing with kids. All right, you haven't matured one day. Okay, that explains a lot. But there's this organization called the Guardians, which has, of course, Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, and Sandman. I actually did like this Santa Claus. This Santa Claus is a tough Santa Claus. And the fact that the elves don't actually do any of the present making like in normal stories, it's actually the Yetis that make the presents. That I actually thought was pretty funny because the elves are like doing this dumb stuff. They're not that bright. They're electrocuting themselves. And the Yetis are actually doing all the decal, everything, all the nice things for every single toy. It's like, okay, this is a fun little world they're building. The Easter Bunny's world was a little weird. The fact that the eggs plant themselves is just take care of themselves. I don't know. I guess every single one's family did Easter differently, because some families will boil eggs, color them, and hide them. Some families will buy chocolate eggs, just hide those. Some families will buy those plastic empty eggs. They'll fill them with random stuff and hide them. It's just like, that's how I've seen every single family do it. It's always different. Always different. And it's always weird when I see, oh, those are eggs that are self-dipping. I don't think most families do that. I think most families are cheap and don't take the time to do that. Not that it's cheap to do that, because you have to buy the eggs, or you have to buy the plastic eggs, or the chocolate eggs, and you have to hide them around the house, or you have to fill the plastic eggs with stuff. That would be the most expensive right there. But it's just like, okay, this is, I guess everyone's being forced to accept that this is how it's done. This is how it's done. It's all those little things that are just like, go around. Maybe have various different ways of doing it, where there are some that are just chocolate eggs, some that are empty eggs that were bouncing around, getting filled, and then hiding themselves. That would have made sense to me, that there's a variety of different kinds of eggs for the egg hunt. Makes sense to me. Yeah, the Sandman was the only one I think that made sense. That didn't make a sound. Very powerful. The fact that it was turned to nightmares with the boogeyman. The boogeyman has that ability, which honestly was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense that he can take nightmares, because he literally is a dark entity that brings darkness into the world. Or he's a great marksman that just kills everyone with a pencil. Baba Yaga. Yeah, it's just one of those things, just like, okay, I like how the boogeyman is the bad guy. He wants to be remembered, but that's the thing. Everyone does know who the boogeyman is. The boogeyman should always be remembered. There's something about that. It's just like, why do you want to get rid of all of the other Guardians? But yeah, the Jack Frost is chosen as one of the Guardians by Manny Moon, because the moon finally speaks again and says Jack Frost is going to be a Guardian. And most of the Guardians don't agree. I know the Tooth Fairy is absolutely obsessed with Jack because he's got perfect teeth. The Easter Bunny doesn't like him. The Sandman, I guess, is indifferent. And Santa Claus, of course, does what the moon says. Yeah. But it's just like, the story isn't... I think I love the movie primarily because of the characters. The Tooth Fairy's obsessed with Jack. All the Tooth Fairies, they like all love Jack just because of his perfect teeth. He's like the pretty boy. Easter Bunny doesn't get along with him. Sandman is just I think the Sandman was the coolest, chillest one, and he's the most powerful, of course, because he's dreams, and in dreams you can do anything. That's why he's the first target to get rid of, because nightmares is the counterpart to dreams. So that's basically it. Sandman has to get gotten rid of, and then after you get rid of Sandman, you just start getting rid of all the joy from everyone else. And then nobody believes. As soon as nobody believes, nobody can see the Easter Bunny. No one can see any of that stuff anymore. Yeah. So it's just like one of those things, like, okay, so can the parents not see the eggs around the park? Does every Easter, do they just stand there watching their kids run around the park, grabbing, filling their basket with nothing? That's something I found, like, but that's the loophole. I don't need to go there. I enjoy the movie. I actually really do enjoy the movie. There isn't much to say about the movie, though, except for the characters. It's funny. It's funny. Like the fact that the Easter Bunny has a Australian accent. Really? Really? It's just like one of those things. Like, it looks like a giant kangaroo at that point because he's huge. He's huge. So they make jokes like that. It's the personalities of them all, the way they quit back with one another. The Santa Claus being a tough Santa, something you're not used to seeing. Normally you see the jolly old Santa. He isn't exactly jolly, even though he is jolly. And you see the fact that the Yetis are the ones doing everything. The Yetis are the smart ones. Like there's the part where Jack is taken to the North Pole for the first time, and then he's like, I've never seen the inside of the workshop. The Yetis always stop me. And then he sees one of the Yetis. He's like, oh, hey, Paul. Because he's always run into that Yeti. The Yeti has always stopped him from getting to the North Pole, getting to steal presents and things. So it's just like all those little things that are just like, okay, that seems to add to the world. That adds so much. The little details like that add so much. It's like, okay, I can believe Jack Frost has been around. I can believe he's been messing with everyone. That's why they have trouble liking him. He caused havoc for the Easter Bunny. He's tried to cause havoc for Santa, but the Yetis have prevented him, which is why Santa's indifferent as well. So it's all these little things. Just like, okay, that's the best part about it. I'd recommend watching it just for the banter between them all. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.